listening to Kelly and Laura, just two unfiltered mums here to share the raw reality of parenthood.
So, today's episode, we have grabbed a cuppa and we're just going to chat through about our week because I feel it's been one hell of a roller coaster this last week, hasn't it?
It has just been wild. I don't know what has happened to our children.
I've no idea. Okay, let's start with you. How's your week been, Laura?
I mean, wild. Full stop. Right, okay, let's start with sleep, shall we? So,
Okay.
George, is a really good sleeper, all right? I cannot complain at all. He's a really good sleeper. The clock changed. Now, I was one of those smug ones that when the night the clocks changed, everyone obviously was like, oh my God. And I was just there like, nothing happened. And so it's just karma, really, because he basically has been waking up at 5:30, ready to go.
Ooh.
And it's like, he's got blackout curtains, but I think he can still see, obviously, that it's lighter. So he's waking up and he's like, oh, it must be morning. So he's going, morning, morning, morning. And we talk through the monitor about him and we're like, no, go back to sleep a little bit. And he goes, no. I was like, oh, brilliant, great. So we're having an argument already at 5:30. So it's been really early starts every morning, but obviously he doesn't nap. So he's going to nursery or we've got a full-on day and he is exhausted. And I'm thinking I'm not bringing those naps back because...
No.
Well, that disrupted his sleep anyway because he doesn't need them. But he has gone back to waking up for a cuddle. But luckily he calls for Matt. But he did this when Isla was just about to be born and then when she was first born. I think it's just this reassurance thing that we're still there. But yeah, he'll just go, Daddy, big cuddle. And Matt's going...
I mean, we go oh now, but at 2 a.m. it's like...
Yeah, it's like, really, we're here. I'll just shout at you at the monitor. But no, so luckily, he calls for Matt. But so this week he's been doing that more and then waking up at 5:30 and it's just like...
It's just that bit too early, isn't it? 5:30.
Yeah. Well, it is for him. It's not even just us. It is for him as well. It's just half an hour a bit too early for him. So, yeah, that's George. But that's just been this week. So that's been great. What about Mila?
Right. Okay.
No, I know that this hasn't just been this week, but I know this week in particular has been tricky.
Yeah. So sleep-wise, I just don't know what's going on. Mila has never been a consistent sleeper. So sometimes I'll get her for weeks and I say weeks, I think I'm overkilling it there. Connor will be like, are you mad? Maybe days, where she's sleeps really well through the night. And then it will just be madness. She'll be awake, wide awake for a couple of hours, or she would do some false starts, whatever. This last week has just been hell. She's been waking up just as we get to bed. We will just get into bed and it's like she senses we are just pulling that duvet over, about to snuggle in, and she wakes up and she's crying and I'm thinking, oh, for goodness sake. And she did this a couple of times within the week where she would wake up crying, you'd go in, try and soothe her, and she would just be awake from, say, I don't know, 11:30 or something like that, and she'd be awake for hours, and I'm talking wide awake. And I'm thinking in my head, what is it? Because you can tell that she wants to sleep. But she's restless. It's like she can't get comfortable. You cuddle her to soothe her, but she's kind of crawling all over you. Dummy's in and out because yes, we are those parents. We do use a dummy. Best thing and worst thing ever. So it's just been really hard. And there was one night where I just lost it. I was so frustrated. I was so tired. And I just remember just walking out of a room and just kicking. We bought some nappies and I just kicked the pack of nappies down the stairs. Then I was like, oh, for God's sake, I've got to go and pick them up now and bring them back. I was just so frustrated. I just was so tired. And Connor's been just as there as I have, if not sometimes more, because I was feeling a bit ropey at the beginning. So I don't know what's going on with her. She's just waking up, ready to have a little party, I can't
bless
even
her.
co-sleep with her. So, you know, when people complain sometimes about, gosh, my child like gets into bed with me, or the only way they will sleep is if they come into bed with us. We would actually dream of the night where Mila just comes into bed with us and settles. As soon as she comes into bed, if we've like given up, we've tried everything else. Like the other night, she just wasn't settling. I was like, I just need to lie down because I'm exhausted. And I thought maybe she'll just lie down with me and just go to sleep. Oh my God. I mean, her bum was in my face, like she was hitting me, like
Like mother, like
me.
daughter.
Yeah. she was just like all over the place. And it's like it wakes her up. It's like she gets excited when she's lying next to us, or to me. I tried it on my own. So, you know,
bless
when like I can understand why sleep deprivation is used as a torture tool.
Oh,
I
yeah.
get it.
I don't think
get
there's
it.
anything worse. I genuinely don't
Yeah.
think there's anything worse. I'm
And then
awful
having to
with no
function.
sleep.
Yeah, having to function the next day, and I'm in my head thinking, oh my God, like I'm not back at work yet. How the heck am I going to do this? So yeah, mate, it's been a great week. I've got vodka or brandy in my coffee.
In
joking,
the
I
morning.
haven't.
You don't mean this one, you mean in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's just like, and then Isla as well. So on top of that, like with George, which okay isn't in comparison to you, isn't, you know, disastrous, but then Isla, like again, is a good sleeper, can't complain, but she has gone a few weeks now without a night feed, which has been ideal. So she has been, I know you hate that phrase, sleeping through, but she's been sleeping through. I know, it's such a phrase.
I wouldn't hate it if my child did it. Maybe.
But yeah, she's been waking up for a night feed and then just being really unsettled. So it's like you just get one down and then the other wakes up, and then but I just got, you know, George back settled, and then Isla would wake up again or need like another cuddle or something. It's just like just yo-yoing and just like going from bedroom to bedroom.
Yeah.
And we just, again, like you said, just unsettled, and we just couldn't work out what was wrong with her or what was going on. And then I saw those teeth at the bottom, and I was like, oh God, we're back here again with teething. So George had his first tooth at like 4 months. So from 4 months...
Was it that early?
Yeah, he was so early. So like we didn't really know what it was, like with, you know, when he was unsettled with it. So I should have known really, but... Yeah, saw one tooth and I was like, okay, right, that one's pushed through this week, like start of the week. I was like, right, so she'll be fine now. Anyway, carried on. And I was like, it's through. I don't know why it's causing you that much discomfort now, like, because we've had to cowpull her and stuff. And then the other one, the one next to it at the bottom, and I was like, double whammy. We've had a double whammy teeth this week. In a week. Like,
that's the thing.
I know.
It must be so painful. You forget, I definitely forget, like, or underestimate how painful teething is. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, I can't remember teething. As in, like, if you've got tooth pain, like toothache now, like, it's blinking painful.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So, yeah, it must be awful. And then literally yesterday, we've been doing, like, sitting up practice and whatever. And then, yeah, she just decides to sit up on her own. Like, a good 5-6 minutes just on her own. I was like, right.
That's amazing, but that's...
amazing, but that's obviously been affecting her sleep as well this week. So she's just been crazy.
I think both of our girls are very similar though, aren't they? As in, their sleep is very sensitive to their development or teething or anything like that. And there normally is a reason. I mean, you say that about Isla. Mila's top 2 teeth came through and then she's got another one coming through. So I think that was probably a reason as well. But you just don't know. I mean, I haven't got a clue, like, whether it is teething. Has she got a poorly belly? Has she got a little bit of a headache? Who knows?
No.
Like, it is really difficult. I can only guess, like you, that it was the teeth.
I feel like I always try and find a reason. It makes me feel better that, that's why.
Me too.
So for this week, Isla's reasons are her 2 teeth and the fact she just decided to sit up.
Woohoo! Go Isla though.
But then hopefully now it should settle, do you know what I mean? If it doesn't, I'm going to be raging.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I say this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that. I can say that to you. For me, I'm like, my child never sleeps.
I know, our voices are hilarious. Like, you've got this, you can do it. They'll do it tonight. You'll be great. And then literally in the morning, we're like, oh, for God's sake.
I know. It's
But
like
then,
we wait for that first voice note in the morning.
oh yeah, well, do you know what? Sometimes I know your week has been particularly bad, right? So I tend to voice note early because I'm up earlier. George wakes early, obviously, and like nursery run and stuff. So I tend to voice note Kelly first. But the week she's been having, I've just been leaving it because I just don't want to voice note you at like, I don't know, 7, half 7. And like, so I don't know if you're back to sleep then. You know, sometimes it's taking you to like 4 or 5 o'clock to go back to sleep. So I'm like, I don't want to wake you up with a voice note like, good morning.
We had a great night and I slept through. Woohoo!
So yeah, I have just been leaving you this week, and then normally I get one pinged through, and I'm like, oh god, I don't know whether to sit down for this or just press
Get
play.
your cup of tea ready.
Yeah, just crossing my fingers as I press play.
Dear.
It has been quite a week, but then to top it all off, we've had a little bit of illness, haven't we?
Oh,
In
just
our
a
little
little
families.
bit. Just a little bit. Oh.
So you're obviously not feeling great, are you, my little pumpkin?
I've definitely felt better. I'm trying to stop myself from actually having a coughing fit right now. You know, when that's that little tickle at the back, you think, if I cough, I'm never going to stop. So I came down with tonsillitis, joy. I haven't had that since I was like a teenager. I used to get it really bad as a kid, actually, and it's something that I outgrew. And then just rocking this like chest cold. And that's actually... I don't know who gave it to who. I mean, I'm blaming Mila for mine, but it could have been me. I know. It could have been me give it to her. I don't know. But definitely this sleep. Another reason, like we try and fathom, don't we? Is she's come down with this cough cold that she hasn't really been poorly. Up until now, and she's nearly 1 year old. She'd have I think she'd have a cold and then it would be gone by the next day, whereas I think I actually messaged you going, oh, she's probably just going to be like ill for 24 hours and then she'll be fine like normal, and like
famous last words.
That did not happen. So like her sleep in general, not just night sleep, but her naps have been disturbed because of her coughing. So she will go, you can tell that she's asleep and she's trying to get into that deep sleep and she's just coughing away. So we have had a couple of shorter naps or ones that I've had to go intervene and just give her a cuddle and try and just get her back to sleep. So
she's probably exhausted as well. And obviously we know that like when they're overtired, they sleep less as well, which doesn't make any sense when you say it like that. But
yeah, it doesn't, does it?
That does happen, doesn't it, when they're overtired?
Yeah, and I think it's, I think we put on our socials recently about a luxury, didn't we, of before kids?
Oh yeah.
And I've definitely changed mine now because being able to be ill and just like recover is definitely something I miss, because
someone said that. I think someone messaged that, like the luxury of just being able to be ill.
Yeah, just being able to be. It is like I couldn't have wanted more to just sleep and just like stay in bed and just recover because of how rubbish I felt. And you can't. You've got to get up. You've still got to parent, looking after her. And with the lack of sleep during the night, I think that's why it's been lingering, because that's when you recover, isn't it, when you sleep? So yeah, when I kind of lost it the other night and kicked the nappies down the stairs, Connor was like, just go to bed, go to sleep. Like, I've got this. I'm like, no, because then you'll become frustrated like me, and then we'll both be frustrated. And he was just like, look, you will not recover and you won't get better if you don't sleep. But I can't. When Connor goes in to help get her back to sleep, I am like obsessed with the monitor. Like, I'm there, like Connor's like, turn the monitor off or like to put it down, or like I'm there like just watching, and it's like I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't relax, I can't sleep myself. When I'm in there, I can literally hear Connor snoring, and I'm like, you. So envious right now.
I would love to say I'm like you. But no, if Matt says he's going in, I'm like, see ya.
Yeah, I know, and I should, because otherwise we've got two sleep deprived parents, whereas at least one of us should be smart and getting some sleep. So that's something that I definitely need to work on. But yeah, it's been a rubbish week. I still feel rubbish, and poor Mila's had it and still been poorly. But so I think that's kind of caused the disruption as well. But she'll be going to nursery soon. Can't wait. It's going to be constant.
So we, touch wood, like hadn't been hit with major bugs for a while. Like obviously, I mean, I hate to tell you, but the cold is just constant. So it's more just learning to live with it. I think George has had a cold since he started nursery and he's now in preschool.
Don't tell me that.
Legit, honestly, I could count on one hand the days he doesn't have a runny nose or a cough. It is crazy. But it's all right, they learn to manage it, it's fine. But literally 2 nights ago, obviously I had a bit of pain to get down to sleep, and then we'd cooked dinner, and then we heard it's about 8:30, and we just heard George go, "Mummy," on the monitor, and then threw up everywhere. And I was like, oh my God.
No,
so obviously stripped the bed, stripped him, hosed him down, got the vanish out, got the towels down all like around his bed. And I was like, oh my God. But up until this point, like when he's had a sickness bug, he's probably been sick 2 or 3 times, and then he's fine. And then when it's obviously at night time, he just sleeps, and then he's literally right as rain, absolutely fine. So I said to Matt, I was like, he'll only do it a couple more times and then he'll be all right. So then we put him down, he'd had a little bit of water, and then within 20 minutes, Mummy, I was like, oh, here we go. So literally like ran up, scooped him out of bed, and then he was sick again. But we're a bit more prepared this time, so that was fine. And then same thing, put him down, he was fine. And then again, he was sick again. So I said to Matt, I was like, right, this should be it now, really, judging by him, you know. But then he was sick again. And I said to Matt, I was like, I can't go to bed knowing that I know he's not finished being sick, because now I can't predict it. I don't know what's going to happen. So we're and ahhing about what to do, like where to sleep, like do I bring a mattress into his bedroom? But I was like, I really just need to be with him. He's got he hasn't got a toddler bed, he's got a single bed. So I was like, I'll just get into bed with him, but with a bed guard and everything. I was like smushed. I bet that was
cozy.
Yeah, and I was like, this isn't working. So we went into the spare room, and just what you said about co-sleeping, we've never co-slept ever. No. And Matt's like, oh, don't pretend you're not going to love this, you know, like it'll be all cute. And oh my God, like you said, bum in the face, I had feet in the face, mixed in with Mummy being sick in a bowl. And then I love him so much. But I was obviously, at this point, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. He's not been to sleep. No. And I was head on the pillow, and then he was like, Mummy, he just came and put his head right next to mine, and then was just like, because he was like in and out of sleep, then just breathing on me. And I'm like, I love you. I absolutely do not want this sickness bug. I'm like, what?
Boundaries, child.
And I was like, oh my God.
But then that would really irritate me. I'm that person that I can't hear people eat or breathe too heavy.
I'm with you. I can't stand breath. I can't stand anything like that. Like literally, Matt knows this. There has been times he has been banished to the spare room, so I just cannot deal with any snoring, breath, nothing. But then it got to 2 o'clock, and he'd stopped being sick. And he just went, my own bed, please, Mummy. I was like, oh, do you want Mummy to come with you? He's like, no. I was like, you're kicking
maybe didn't like your breath.
I was like, you're kicking me out of co-sleeping. No, child.
That's amazing.
Bless him. Yeah, so he went back to bed. He went back to his bed, and thankfully he was fine then. And then me thinking, I said to him, I was like, he'll probably sleep to about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow, because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. 6:30. Mummy! I was like, are you joking? 4 hours sleep.
I'm ready.
I was like, no, go back to sleep. He was like, no, I'm awake now.
Oh God, these kids. Where do they get the energy from? I mean, when Mina's had nights when she's been awake literally from 12:30 until 4, and I'm like, you should be exhausted, child. Yeah. I'll wake up like a zombie and, voice note you and sound horrendous. And she's like, la, 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 la.
In the background.
Loving it, clapping. Like, Mona, look at the clapping. I'm like, wow. Gosh, I don't know.
This reminds me, though, of a voice note that you've sent me. This, obviously, you just played them. And Matt was like, this is when you were ill. Matt was like, what is Kelly doing? I was like, what do you mean, what is she doing? He went, she's doing an OnlyFans video. Right, first of all, why are you watching OnlyFans videos? How do you know what they sound like? But then he was like,
Busted!
she just sounds so like husky and like, I was like, she's got tonsillitis, mate. She's not trying to seduce me. She's poorly.
Oh my god, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. No,
So, there you
I
go.
mean, sometimes I wish I'd probably earning much more money. Maybe that's what I should do. Oh, the voice.
gosh.
Oh god, it's not good.
This
on that
catch up
road.
has taken a good turn.
Yeah, crikey.
But we weren't the
Yeah.
only ones plagued with the sickness bug, were we?
Oh no. So
Sharing's caring.
my week just got better and better. Yeah, so we had Mila's settling session at nursery, which was 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour, guys. And she did that twice. And was, well, we'll talk about nursery maybe another time. But it was okay. But I remember looking on the door and it had a sign going, well, one, we've got a case of chickenpox. We've got a case of hand, foot and mouth disease. Christ. And then we've got a case of sickness and diarrhea. And I was like, excellent. I just can't wait for my child to come. I got to the door and I thought, should I go in? Should I go in? I've got no choice, but oh my gosh. So, yeah, we're absolutely fine. Oh my gosh, I think it was like the day after her last settle session. And Connor woke up and was like, oh, like my belly. Just got a little bit of stomach pain, but he didn't feel sick. Like nothing was going on down there. It was just a bit of a stomach ache, I think. And I was like, oh, just monitor it. Anyway, off he goes to work. And he was on a later shift. I get a phone call he finishes late at night, and he phoned me. He always phones me on the way back from work, and he was like, Kelly, like I really don't feel very well. I feel like quite sick. And I was like, oh gosh. I was like, it's Mila's birthday coming up. She's turning 1. And I was like, we can't afford to be ill. Like, we're parents. I was like, just get back as quick as you can, but as safe as you can. If you need to be sick, just pull over and be sick. Anyway, he comes back home and he doesn't look great. And I was just like, just straight to bed. Anyway, I get into bed. And I'm not even lying, within 30 minutes, my belly's like, oh. And I was like,
God.
I felt fine all day. And then I was like, I was trying to make up a reason as to why my belly might be like take anything other than sickness and diarrhea. I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I haven't eaten enough today. Probably not the reason with how my clothes fit right now. But anyway, and then I think it was like literally minutes after, Connor was running to the bathroom and I could just hear him being sick. And I was oh no. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm kind of like invincible. I'm going to be fine. Having just like still got tonsillitis and a cold. Don't know why I thought that. And then within probably like 15 minutes, I was like, I don't feel quite well. And we were just, well, I'll spare the details, but we were backwards and forwards to the bathroom all throughout the night and choosing which way to go first, basically, front or down. It was horrendous. Now, I have to say, that night, I was so grateful, and Connor was. Mila decided to sleep through the entire night. So we could be sick and poop, basically.
The one chance you had to catch up on all your sleep.
I mean, literally, the one time we could have recovered, we were throwing up out of both ends. Great, lovely.
Oh.
So, and the next day we were just exhausted and drained. We hadn't slept. She woke up, I think it was like 6:30, like 6:45. And I said to Connor, I was like, I can't do this. Like, what? Like, I feel so ill. And we were still, at this point, being sick. I think it was, I don't know, like 8 or like 8:30 in the morning or something when I stopped vomiting. But
God.
Luckily, Mila did great naps that day as well. She did a nice 2-hour nap in the morning. So I was so thankful because I couldn't imagine like having that and her having a disturbed night, I mean,
Yeah.
her bedroom would have been soiled.
Decorated.
Yeah, literally. It was horrendous.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, it's been a great week.
I just
Just
can't
sip
believe
my
our
coffee.
weeks. Yeah, and cry into it if you were. Like, the fact that this has happened literally in the space of like just over a week is our voice notes have been crazy. It has literally just been one thing after the other.
Has, and they can tell by the tone of the voice note, especially mine, they just get more depressing.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like, my night again, or this has happened. And I was thinking to myself, every reply that you've done in the morning starts with, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, like you had a bad night. I'm so sorry you're so ill. Like every single intro, your voice note is, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry, mate.
I know.
I've been there. Like I just know.
hard.
I just know how hard it is, and I am genuinely like.
I know.
I'm just so sorry.
I know.
Oh my God.
It's hard though. I think, to be fair, it was hard as well. With Mila, it was definitely really very poorly. It was the first time she had a temperature, and she had a temperature of 38.7, I think it was. And I started to get a little bit worried because I wasn't sure, when's the time where you need to maybe get some medical like help or advice on it, or do you just power through? I remember actually that night we kind of felt it sounds weird, but we kind of felt a bit relieved. As to why she was awake, because she had this temperature. It kind of all made sense. And you say that you're trying to find a reason for when they're not sleeping, but it does help, even if it's actually in reality not true. It could be something else, but it does help. And you think, oh, that's why. And then we felt really bad for her because it was the first time you could tell that she was feeling unwell. And then I remember going out of the room, actually taking the temperature, and it was like really bad. Going out the room, she was crying 1 minute, and then all I hear is her like hysterically laughing, and Connor's like doing something so basic, like I don't know, like dropping the dummy on the floor or something, and she is laughing her head off. And I'm like, it's like 12:30, like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, we are trying to get her to sleep, aren't we? Yeah. And Connor's like, well, it's better than her crying. And I was like, to be fair, mate, you're right. It's like, crack on. Anything to keep her happy at the minute. So, but yeah, that was just
like
a little
that,
bit
isn't
easy.
it? You get to a point where you're just like, I'm just going to try anything and everything. I remember with George, when we got this with his sleep, like I tried white noise. So we haven't used white noise with either of them. Now the reason is, it's not because we're one of those parents. It's because when I tried it with George, it actually did the opposite and like stimulated him and he got really excited.
Oh, really?
Like to the noise. No matter what noise I tried, it's like, what's this? Party in the car. And it was like, okay, this is not having the right effect that I needed it to. So and I was so similar to him with like stimulation and stuff. I was like, there's just no point in trying with you.
No, you do anything then, don't you? I mean, I've got literally,
that point.
I've got bin bags on her window. I'm not even lying. Like, to try and make it as dark as possible, doesn't make any difference. So yeah, I mean, we've had this conversation so many times, but like the pressure of day sleep or the quality of day sleep is really tremendous, I feel, on night sleep. It's kind of all like the sleep experts are like, however they sleep in the day affects them at night. Well, I'm gonna sit here right now and call BS in regards to my child, because Mila could have glorious naps in the day and it makes absolutely no difference at night. And she could have a rubbish naps and then sleep through. Gotta re-hit that term. But it's just all over the place. So it's been a great week. I have loved every second. I have not, wished for any other type of week.
Really, really grateful and love life.
Really
no, it has been quite a week. So I think we just wanted to come on, have a cuppa and a catch up. And just in case anybody else has had a rubbish week, then we hear you. And
hang on in there. Hang on in there.
It happens to the best of us.
Apparently it does get better. Still waiting. But Oh, there we go. I nearly coughed then. Saved it.
Oh.
I'm just waiting for the next lurgy, so pray for
Well,
me.
mate, you've got nursery, the start of nursery, so I mean, I can't wait for our next catch up.
Well, I've got her birthday. Yep, she's starting nursery. I'm going back to work. Oh, it's.
I feel like we should do another
big
catch up then soon.
We
I feel like we're
definitely
going to have a lot to catch up on.
We will be back for another round of catch up pretty soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.